I wanted to make a quick video for all the owners of 2002 Dodge Dakotas and compatible. Maybe save you some of the pain and suffering I had. When you're replacing the water pump, you suspect a bad water pump, the first thing you should check is this hose right here. This is known as a bypass hose. It costs $6, and in my particular case was what was bad, not the water pump. Now, unfortunately, I didn't discover this until I'd already purchased and removed my old water pump and done enough damage in the process of trying to remove my fan clutch that I didn't have a choice but to replace my water pump. When you're suspecting a bad water pump, you don't have to remove the bracket that holds the alternator and the AC compressor. That bracket being this one right here. However, for the time it takes to remove a dozen, half dozen bolts so that you can get a good look at this hose, it is worth it, because this part costs you $60, $70. This part costs you $6. Dodge engineers should have probably used a steel hose here or something a little more durable than rubber, but we can't all be as perfect as we want them to be. Again, if you suspect a water pump failure, if you're seeing water running from the general direction of your water pump, this hose breach is going to breach and run down across the block on either side behind the water pump. It's going to look like a water pump failure if it's this hose. I had no way of knowing it was this hose until I had that bracket assembly off. You can save yourself a water pump. Again, it's very simple. You take the AC compressor off. That's these 3 bolts. There's another one that is held down by the AC lines. Then there's 2 bolts that hold the alternator on. Pull those out of the side. Remove 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bolts from the facing. There's a 7th behind here. You just take this pulley bolt off here. And then this holds the oil filler tube on, or the oil, not the oil filler tube, the oil dipstick tube. Remove that bracket out of the way. There's another 3 or 4 bolts on the back. Like I said, it's about a dozen bolts. And you can get a good look at that tube. That will tell you whether or not you need to spend the money on a water pump. You're still going to have to drain and refill the system. You might as well replace your thermostat while you're in here. But if it saves you $60, it's worth the time.